What's up, everybody? You know who this is, David, aka Preacherman. And today, it's me and Deacon Curry. And today we're going to be doing military talk, right?
Yes. We're going to talk about experiences in the military.
Alright, so make sure you hit that subscribe button at the bottom here on this YouTube channel. And make sure you don't forget to stay tuned to each and every episode that me and Deacon Curry has. So today, we're going to get into the show, and today we're going to talk about our experiences and some of the things that we're seeing today in the military. So the first things first is we both been in basic training.
Yes.
And we both were in the same unit.
We were in the same unit, and we both deployed.
Yep.
And tried to make the best of it while we could.
Okay, so the first thing is, just like everybody has that introduction into the Army or in the military, they have to go through basic training. So where did you go to basic?
I went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia.
And I went to basic at Fort Jackson in Columbia, South Carolina. So how was basic training? What was the experience like for you?
Man, when I was in basic training, it was rough. First time leaving home, going to this foreign place, you don't know where you're at. They keep you up for 24 hours. They condition you because, that's one of the main things that you have to do once you get there, And they run you through a course to see how tough you are. And this is just day one. From getting off that bus, getting sized and fitted for your equipment, for your uniforms and stuff like that. It's a grueling battle.
So I went to Fort Jackson, and it was basically the same thing. I remember when they came in and got us from reception, it was like put your head in your bag. It was so much going on. Felt kind of a little nervous. I was a little nervous a little bit because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know how to even get back to where we started at in the receiving department. I really didn't. We also did the whole thing with the clothes and get fitted for uniforms. I think we made that one final call, was like basically telling the people that you made it and that basically they'll see you on graduation. And that's kind of how basic got started for me at Fort Jackson. So moving in, when you went to basic, were you eating like normal civilians eat, or?
Man, let me tell you, when we were in basic, it was almost like being in school. You go to the cafeteria, or the DFAC is what they call it, short for dining facility. And, you had stuff there that they would tempt you with, because you're just now making it to this military installation, and you have to eat like they want you to eat. So whatever they give you, you eat that. Yeah, they had chips and cake and soda, but they tell you don't mess with that because that's not what you're here for. We're here to get you to eat a little bit healthy per Army standard and go from there. But some people will try to tempt fate because they miss those good old chips and fatty cakes, what they used to call them, stuff like that. And you get used to it. But the thing that got me was my first time dealing with an MRE. We would go to the field a lot because at Fort Benning, the home of the infantry, they taught us like we were about to be 11 Bravos, which is infantry. So we had to do all types of going to the field, doing this, doing that, and eating MREs. And once you got that, you're like, hey, how do I do this? And then you figure it out and you go from there. And then every once in a while, when your class was doing good, they'd be like, oh, we got pizza and Gatorade, because that was like your reward for making it through this week without nobody, messing up or anybody doing something crazy and stuff like that. But here now, online, I see that these kids are in basic training, and there's nothing like when we went. They get to have their phones, they get to have like all these extravagant meals, they get to make TikTok videos. I'm like, how are you doing this in basic training? It's like you guys aren't learning anything. You're just learning how to be in an establishment, get a little bit of training, enough to get you by. And it's horrible that we have become a weaker army or military compared to the militaries around the world. And it's crazy.
Yeah, because, and then my experience, like you were just saying, the kids having all the stuff that they have now in basic training. Well, when I went, I remember that one phone call. Then it was basically training, conditioning. Our way of getting out to our people was like through mail. And mail call was like the best thing going, because it was like, hey, am I getting that letter that I wrote somebody? Am I getting some good news? What's going on out there? I think when I was in basic, back in 2014, it was like, I think it was during the basketball playoffs, and the NFL draft was coming together. And I think like most of us would write these letters to people that we knew outside, like, hey, what's going on in the draft? Who's winning the NBA Finals? Those type of things just to keep the morale up, but we were still focused on the training at hand, because, that's what you were there for, basically going in, getting what you need as far as learning how to become a soldier in the United States Army, military, and to hear and see a lot of kids making TikToks, just making it more like a free zone, if I can use that, kind of like a free zone to kind of do what you want to do, if it makes sense.
I wouldn't say it's like a free zone. I would say it's more or less of, we're just gonna let you do kind of what you want to do within regulations.
Yeah.
Because when we went in, it was more of, we're teaching you on the lines from the past, military experiences like the Gulf War experience, the Vietnam experience, and stuff like that. I understand you have the new millennials and we're in a new time zone, and or whatever you want to call it, but you still need to teach those kids the basic fundamentals of what they need to do. Don't just tell them, hey, you get to join the military and you deploy 1 or 2 times, you have enough to buy you a Camaro or a Challenger. That's what a lot of people have in their mind. They're just like, hey, I'm here just so I can get this money and get school paid for. Then once they get that letter from their commander saying, hey, you're gonna go overseas, that's when they sit there and look like, what did I sign up for? You have people online crying in their car saying, oh my gosh, I didn't sign up for this. This isn't what I signed up for. Yeah, it's scary because it's your first time going. You don't know what you're doing. But if you paid attention and you keep yourself somewhat safe, you'll make it out, Because everybody's gonna have that point in the Army where they're sitting thinking like, what did I sign up for? Like, what did I do? And mine was more or less sitting in the back 40 of Fort Benning, Georgia, in a foxhole, getting rained on. That's like one of them things, like, man, do I really want to be here? Like, what did I sign up for? And then I realized, like, hey, this is just a part of training. Once I get through this, who knows what's gonna happen? Yes, I'm gonna deploy. Yes, this could happen to me, but at the same time, I could be walking down the street and somebody texting and driving and run me over. So if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. But at least when I'm deploying and in a war zone, I know that, hey, I have to be vigilant. I have to know what's going on, this and that. But like I say, it's just on that mindset that you're in that can get you by.
Okay, and the same here. Foxhole, being rained on, doing a 12-mile, I'll never forget, doing a little 12-mile run. I think that was like the end or the close to the end. And it was raining, and drenched wet, boots wet, clothes wet, gear wet, everything just wet. And I remember in my mind just thinking like, is this something that I really want to do? Because mind you, before that 12-mile ruck at the end, it was basically sitting in Foxhole, getting used to being in the field, and it was pouring down rain, and it rained every night. The daytime it rained, nighttime it rained, again, soaked up, inside the mud. Just the whole thinking process was, do I really want to do this? Then the sun comes out, you graduate, and after graduation, you go to an AIT?
Yeah, you go to AIT, which is, I forgot what it stands for. It's like Advanced Initial Training or something like that.
Yeah.
What it's for is for your MOS. I was a truck driver, so therefore they taught me the same thing that they're going to teach you in a CDL school, but I learned it on a military level. And once you get there, you get a little bit more freedom. So you're in AIT, you get to hang out with your buddies, you get your phone, you get to talk to people more, you get to get on the internet and stuff like that. And at the same time, you're learning what it's gonna be like when you go to your unit, and still learning basic fundamentals of being in the Army, you know, and then you just navigate the best that you can through your military career.
And when it comes to AIT, I went to Fort Lee in Virginia. Where did you go?
I went to Fort Bliss, Texas.
Fort Bliss. Okay, so Fort Lee was pretty decent. I would say AIT was really decent. It kind of went by really fast. It was more like, I want to say a little laid back, meaning like it went from we're just straight drilling, getting used to learning how to be soldiers, how to fight the enemy, to now doing your job. I was a 92 Fox, which in the military is called a petroleum supply specialist, which is a great name, but basically we pump fuel and dish it out to the units. And as you go up in the ranks, I eventually got out the military as a specialist. As you go up in the ranks, you learn the job of basically what it is to be a petroleum supply specialist and deliver fuel, boat fuel, report writing, and all types of stuff. And you got out as
I got out as an E5 sergeant.
Okay.
And man, it was a long battle to make that, but I made it. Some people make it as soon as they get in, depending on if they were fast tracked or not, or if they got their points up because they wanted that rank. Didn't know nothing about their job or anything, they just wanted that rank. I actually sat there and took time at my job, doing this, doing that, and doing somebody else's job on top of it, you know. Then luckily, thank God, in the Army, my points dropped, and next thing you know, I got promoted to E5 sergeant.
Great. And I would have to say you were one of the best sergeants I had. Sergeant Moore, shout out to you. You was a great NCO I had. And when you get to your duty station, because now my first duty station, my only duty station was Fort Campbell. I was there for, 5 and some change, and you kind of everywhere.
Oh man, I went everywhere but nowhere at the same time, because the units that I was in, I first started out at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I knew nothing about it. I was attached to an aviation unit, and I learned basically how to do, stuff dealing with the aviation side, loading helicopters and flight tracking, stuff like that. And once I got done with that, I was sent to Hunter Army Airfield, which is in Savannah, Georgia, which is attached to the 3rd ID. I was there for a little bit, still doing a truck driving job. That's when I actually did truck driving and nothing else, none of this ammo or anything that came along with that. And then when that unit shut down, I got sent to Fort Bragg. And I was at Fort Bragg, I was learning the ways of the 82nd, and I pretty much made it from there. I was actually doing ammo and being a glorified delivery driver, because we had to do other things along with that, because I was attached to an infantry unit. And when you're attached to an infantry unit, that's when you do mostly ammo and delivery of goods and other things like that. After that duty station, I re-enlisted to go back to Fort Campbell, because I thought I had a great life coming my way if I was to move back out there. And that went south, and so I just made the best of my time being in Fort Campbell for a second time, which was better because I knew things, I knew people, and I knew how to navigate my way through it. That's where I made E5, and eventually got out of the Army.
Awesome. So same here. I went to one duty station. Fort Campbell was my first and only duty station. I did re-enlist during my deployment to go to Hunter Army Airfield. Some things fell, and those pieces in my life kind of just are faded away, if it makes sense. while at Fort Campbell, that's where I deployed to. I deployed to Kuwait and Iraq, and I mean, I made the best of where I was at, I guess. And what did you deploy with?
Okay, so now when I deployed, my first time, I was at Fort Campbell in the aviation unit. Now, deployment can be scary because you don't know what you're doing. You have to listen to all the other people that deployed and hear their stories and kind of follow them, as well as, you know, do what you can to make it. And I actually liked when I deployed. You know, I went to Afghanistan. We were in Baldwin, and it wasn't as busy as everybody thought it was going to be when we got there. You know, from looking at TV and all this stuff, I thought I was going to be in a real war zone getting shot at all the time and all this stuff, and I actually wasn't. You know, I went there and it was just like, where am I at? What am I doing? And then once we got our stuff worked out to where it could function, that's when I realized, like, man, this is just like a normal job. But yes, I was vigilant. Yes, I made it back safely. But the whole time, you know, you just have to learn what you're doing, learn the experiences that you're going through out there, because it's a big experience. Like, the biggest one for me being out there is I didn't know that it snowed. Man, it was like snow in Afghanistan. I was like, this is crazy, because when you're looking at it on TV, all you see is like desert and stuff like that. Now, while you're deployed, it can take a toll on you, you know, because you're away from home for 6 months, a year and a half, depending on how it was. Back then for us, it was like a year and a half. That's what those long deployments, you know, because that's when things were popping off in Afghanistan and Iraq. And that can do something to you mentally, because here you're this guy fresh off the couch, you're in another country, you're doing things that you never thought you'd do in life, and that takes a toll on you. So you're like, man, am I really doing this? Like, I went from, do I want to be in the military, is this what I want to do, to I'm actually doing it. And you have this thought in your mind, like, this could go left at any time, you know. But like I say, if you keep your head on a swivel, get with the right people, get in the right mindset, you'll be okay, you know. And that's just how it was. And my other deployment was a humanitarian aid type deployment. That was when we went to Haiti, and that was during the earthquake. And I will say, like, yet again, I learned a lot from going to Haiti, dealing with the Haitian people and helping them and doing what I was supposed to do. That was, yet again, one of the best, worst times of my life, you know, because it's monsoon season out there, so it rains constantly, and you just get rained on, and you're in this tent wondering, like, when is this going to stop? But you have to realize, like, hey, this is what these people deal with on a constant basis, so just gotta make like I always say, you know, make the best of a bad situation and everything. But the one thing that gets you is once you deploy, you want to keep going with deployments because you feel like you're doing your job, as opposed to sitting in the field all the time doing nothing, you know, wasting time. Because I can say that I wasted a majority of my military career in the field doing nothing, sitting here trying to find ways of whatever. But deployments, I think, is what make or break a person when it comes to being in the military.
Yep, same here. Deployment, for a little bit of the time was spent in Kuwait. It was basically just doing a little bit of moving different pieces to up north to Iraq. It was a good time for me. I think because, one, I was able to see the military differently. I was able to also do my job and talk to other people from other units, because at that time I was on the verge of either getting out or re-enlisting. And some of different, when you deploy, different duty stations are there, different units are there, so you get to ask questions. Yeah. And some of the questions I was asking was like, what is there to do, things like that. Someone say, don't go to this unit, don't go to this duty station, go here, or whatnot. So at that time, before I didn't re-enlist, I just kind of just going back and forth with people from different units because I wanted to know what's best for me. And I think as any soldier that might watch this, do what's best for you. That's my biggest thing. Do what's best for you. So I ended up going up north, being sent to Iraq. Again, I had a good experience up there. I thought I was going to be like you, sitting in the area where you're going to, taking all this action, shootings, and taking a lot of income and fire, things like that. We did take a little bit of rockets here and there, but it wasn't to the point where like on TV, where you see like, oh, we got to get up, get the weapons and things like that. So those things did happen. But another thing, I did re-enlist downrange. And if you're watching this video, when you enlist downrange, it's non-tax. You don't get no money taken out. You get that straight, whatever it is. So you getting 10 bands gonna be in there. So I made my decision when I deployed, during my deployment to re-enlist. And I kind of waited because it was a waiting game for me because I wanted Hunter Army Airfield. Because it was either Hunter Army Airfield or Fort Bragg. And Fort Bragg was taken because I wasn't a paratrooper. So I was like, okay, well, what can I get? And they were like, well, you can get Korea. And that was like the biggest thing they were throwing to me. It was like, here's this Korea, take Korea, take Korea, take Korea. And I didn't want Korea. I wanted something kind of closer to home, which was North Carolina. So eventually I got the call. It was like at night. I was laying on my cot. I took a shower, finished doing my job and everything. And phone call came and was like, hey, Hunter Army Airfield, do you want it? Yes and no. And it's like a split second decision. If you say you want to think about it, well, you might not get it. So I kind of ran to it, signed paper, and get everything. My deployment, that's where I first got my UCMJ. That's where I never had UCMJ action, never got in trouble or anything, but that's where I was demoted. I was E4P at the time and demoted to E3. And I will talk about that later in a whole different setting about that. So make sure you guys again stay tuned. But the next thing I want to get to is it comes a point in time where you have to get out.
Yes.
You have to get out the Army. Whatever way, whether you retire, whether it's just on your own time, you decide, hey, time is up. And some people just get kicked out. And we're going to talk about that now. I think we're going to move to that situation. So,
well, the best thing to do when it comes to getting out is have a plan. Okay? So you know that you re-enlisted and you have X amount of time left. So if you're not going to re-enlist, then that's when you start making your plan of, I need to get out of the Army or the military, whichever one you're in. And they're going to give you all these classes, which are just check the box classes. You know what I mean? They're not going to, they're going to tell you like, hey, you can do this, you can do that. They're not going to give you like what you really want to know. So that when you get out, most people are looking lost and, and it really messes with them because they don't know. They went from being in a structured environment for the past 9-10 years to I'm a free agent. What am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do with myself? So that's when you get all these like high rates of suicide. You get a lot of drug and alcohol abuse going on, domestic violence and stuff like that. All because they didn't have a good plan. I'm not going to lie to you. When I got out, I didn't have a good plan. It was just, I was so happy to get out. But I had a plan that kind of helped me get out because I got medically separated from the military. And I'm not saying that that's a plan for you, but if it's there and presented, go ahead and go that route. But once you're out, you have to sit and look at it like, okay, so I can get a job or I can get a career. A lot of people just get a job working in a warehouse, working 9 to 5, and then they realize like, man, I'm wasting my life away. If that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do it. But I would advise most people to find some type of career that could help them move along. Like with our jobs, you know, I'm a truck driver. There's a lot of government contracts that you can get with being a truck driver, and you can go from there. You know, you can go work overseas driving trucks. You can work here in the States, and then once that pans out for you, you have your own trucking company or a trucking business, do what you want to do for a little bit, and then bam, you got your plan set. Same with your job, being a fueler. You can go anywhere with that. You can go online, look up on USA Jobs, type in your MOS, they'll find something for you. That's if you still want that structure that you get from the military. So it's like you're getting the structure from the military and you're a civilian, but you're slowly going into the civilian life doing these types of jobs instead of just hitting the ground running, doing something that you don't want to do, then you're going to be like upset with yourself, you know. Or you can go work at the VA hospital, you know what I mean? If you feel that it's one close to where you live at and you want to work there, they'll work with you as far as your military background and stuff like that. Everybody that goes there is military. Everybody that works there it's like half and half, but they'll still work with you and give you the direction that you need and stuff like that. Or like with me, you know, I work at the post office, which works along with my being in the military. So it's like there's many ways that you can go, but just make sure you go the right way when you get out.
Yeah, and I did the same thing. I got out of the military medically. Again, that plan is the big thing. Again, you're gonna go through all these classes. Classes just check the block. Classes are really more like just to say we did something to get you out. But it's, as a veteran, it's your job to have a plan. Your commander's not gonna have a plan. Your first sergeant's not gonna have a plan for you. Your NCO's not gonna have a plan for you. Your best friend's not gonna have a plan for you. You have to have a plan. And when I was getting out, I'm just gonna talk about my plan that I had for a little while. Was the first thing I did was when I was doing my small business stuff. So I was attending Awesome Peace College, their small business program. I was going to meetings. I was going to everything. I started learning so much. I even went, and if you're at Fort Campbell, listen to this, jot this down. If you're at Fort Campbell, there is a lot of job networking events held at the Nissan Stadium where the Tennessee Titans play. They're civilian jobs, they are state jobs, federal jobs, city jobs, county jobs, private sector jobs, and a lot of them are ready to hire veterans right then and there on the spot. I even had it where there was one company that was at the airport. The manager was basically going to give me a supervisor job, and all I had to do was just fill out the form, but I ended up relocating back to North Carolina. So that plan kind of fell through. So when we talk about plans, don't just have plan A. Everybody say have plan A, don't have plan B and everything else because you want to focus on one plan. That plans can fall through or no plans can change. The second thing I was supposed to do, I think when I was getting out, I called you and was like, hey, you know, I got this offer in Cuba to go and do fuel. And that was as a civilian. And I wasn't an E5 or a sergeant, was I?
Not at all.
So when you're in the military and you're hearing like you have to be a certain rank to get certain jobs, that's not a true statement.
That only works if you're trying to work for a 3-letter agency. If you're trying to work for like the FBI, CIA, or anything like that, they want you to be at least E5 or above because you show leadership skills. Which, like I said, once again, most people just go in to get that rank just so it looks good on paper. Because you might not know how to navigate your way out of a wet paper bag, but you hold a title as an E5, and that's what they want to see, you know?
Yeah, so that was my biggest thing. Have a plan, know where you want to live. I think a lot of people, and that's what I'm going to say, when I was doing my classes, a lot of people kind of were getting discouraged and didn't know if they want to go back and re-enlist because they were trying to say that you have to have 60,000. Again, they would say that you have to have certain um, you have to make a certain amount to live in certain states. That's not a fact. I think as a soldier, you need to know where you want to live. One, just because of job, also because of finances, which is the biggest key to being successful anywhere. And then also understanding what those states give to you as a veteran. Because there are things that you can get as a veteran.
All right, now that is true, but I'm gonna say you want to go to where the opportunity is, because if I have an opportunity in Tennessee, we're gonna use Tennessee because that's where we both came from. If I have one there, I'm gonna look at my life and be like, okay, well, I'm here in North Carolina. What is it offering me? So I've been here X amount of years. This is what I'm getting. If I'm getting a better offer in Tennessee, I know that I can go there and I can get more. It's a veteran-friendly state due to the fact that they have the military base there. So I'm going to go to the Tennessee where they can help me out and become more prosperous, because that's where the opportunity is. Same with Texas. Texas is the same. Texas is a great state for veterans. Nevada, but you might get into a lot. You might go broke living out there. Be it that Vegas is there, but they also help you out from being in the military. If you want to be in solitude, go to Alaska. All these states are great places for you to go because, like I say, they're veteran friendly and they help you out more, and they have like all types of plans that not a whole lot of people know about. But I would go to where the opportunity is, because what's holding you back? You know what I mean? I know I should do some of the same things, but if the opportunity is in a different state and I'm able to go, I'm going to go chase it. You know what I mean? Instead of, well, I'm going to do this year, I'm going to do this year. You keep putting it off and putting it off, and you're not going to get to it, because that's kind of what I've done. And I'm not going to say I shot myself in the foot, but I may have grazed my toe. You know what I mean? But no matter what, I'm always going to put myself in a position of winning, because that's what you have to do. Because nobody's going to put you there. You have to put yourself there. You know, you have people that'll give you good suggestions on what to do, what not to do, but you have to go where you feel is right. And like I say, life will tell you where you need to go. You know what I mean? And also with that, what I would say while you're doing all this is take care of yourself. That's the biggest thing that nobody really harps on when you're in the military, from beginning to end, is take care of yourself. Mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, all that. Because if you don't do that, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And that's how you get these guys that are out here, like I say, drinking, on drugs, with the suicide rate. And we got to put an end to that. You know what I mean? Yes, there's agencies that you can go to that can try to help you out, but they're only going to help you so much, because yet, once again, it's checking the block. You know what I mean? Get with somebody that you trust, whether it's me, whether it's this man, just somebody that you know that was in the military with you, that you trust, that can help you get along. Because just going to anybody, it really doesn't pan out like you want it to. Because some people are there to listen because they're getting paid, that's their job, and some people actually care. Because I look at it as the 60-40 rule. 60% of them don't want to hear it, but they'll listen. And that 40% are just glad that it ain't them, you know? And you'll find life will send you somebody that's there to listen to you and stuff like that. Because that's kind of what I want to do. I want to be that person that people can come to and talk about like their military experiences, because they don't feel right talking to Katie that the VA sent to them. The VA sends you this girl. I'm not knocking her in no way, but they send you this girl that's 24. She just got out of internship and she's reading from a book. Here I am, 40 years old. What can this girl do for me? She can only tell me what's in this book. She can't tell me how I'm feeling or what I'm thinking about mentally and physically and stuff like that. Like I said, no offense to her, but especially as black people, you know, that's one thing that we don't really talk about much is how you're feeling and your mental status and stuff like that. Yeah, you might get online, make a joke or two about it, and then somebody reaches out to you and like, nah, I'm alright. But if you're feeling some type of way, go find that help that you need. But that's like the one big thing that a lot of people forget about. Because it's easy to forget about it because you're busy, you're constantly moving, you're trying to figure this out, trying to figure that out. But if you take care of yourself the way you should, everything will fall into place for you.
And I just want to say, piggyback off of that, take care of yourself mentality, because a lot of times in the military, a lot of people don't take care of themselves because stigma. Everybody's afraid of, oh, I'm a weak leader, or I'm just a weak soldier. If I go and get help, that's what they tell you. And that's what a lot of people do when they, especially, are getting out. They're still in that mentality that people don't care about me. They don't care if I'm living, if I'm gone, whatever the case may be. And you have to take care of yourself. That's the number one rule in life, is to take care of yourself. You have to have a support system. If you feel like your support system is here on the YouTube channel with me and Deacon Curry, then hey, let that be known. We're here to help. We're not here to basically say, oh man, that's a stupid decision. I would hope that we could get the suicide rates and stuff down. I mean, we're veterans. We hear about it. We read about it. And it's small, simple stuff that there are people that kill themselves over. It's the small thing. It's like, oh, I might not have a job. I might not have a relationship. I might have to pay child support. I might not have my kids in my life. I might not have my friends. So again, you can just basically just come here. Let this be your outlet. We're here to help. We're here to give you vital information. Like, the information we're giving you is not just information for us to just get on here to get clicks and likes. Yes. It's more so like
trying to help out
exactly
the best we can.
Exactly. So exactly, and that's what we want to do. And that's what we're here to do. That's why we're making videos. That's why we came together as veterans and said, hey, let's put this stuff out so that we could give back to those who need this help. I mean, the VA has a lot of programs, just like Deacon Curry said, but they're only going to help us for so long. And you again have to have that plan. That's why I support to have that plan and have that peace of mind. And I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna be honest, if you are that type of guy who's in the military, or woman who's in the military right now, and you're saying, well, my relationship isn't good, my spouse isn't supporting me getting out, they want me to stay in, and I know it's time for me to get out, I have to do something better, or whatever you're thinking about, I would say move on.
Yeah, you're going to have to cut sling load.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's an air assault term. Cut sling load.
Yeah, you got to cut it because, one, it's detrimental to your health. Number two, it's not going to help you get anywhere, and you'll be in that forever. As I always say, if you want to call it a loss, take your losses now. Take your bumps and bruises now, especially getting out. Because out here, and I'm just going to speak on some positivity. Out here, when I got out the military, I took a cruise. I've been to Jamaica since I've been out. I've been to Las Vegas since I've been out. I have taken trips. Why? Because, again, I spent more time in my life inside the military being in the field, not getting those opportunities, not being able to just sit at home and kick my feet up for a little while because I'm on call or recalls happen or whatever the case may be. I think with us coming to this close is about self. Take care of yourself. What is it that you want out of life? What do you want to do now that you're out, or maybe you're transitioning out, or maybe you're already out and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I would say get a sheet of paper and put it on paper and keep that paper up, whether it's in your bathroom or your mirror, and check those blocks as you go. So if you're saying, hey, I want to go on a cruise, I want to go to Jamaica, I want to go to Las Vegas, I want to go somewhere, then you can check those blocks off and say, hey, I did it. It doesn't take a lot of money. I know a lot of people think it takes a lot of money to go out of town or to go. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Exactly. I would just say make sure your bills are taken care of. That's number one. Take care of them bills. Take care of yourself. If you are in a financial bond, maybe you're looking on, you're saying, hey, I'm in a financial bond. This is the only thing. Let me tell you something. You don't have to end your life because of that.
Exactly.
And you don't have to end your life because of that. You don't have to go and drink because of that. We've dealt with problems getting in out of the army. We've dealt with them.
And it's like, with problems, everybody's going to have a problem. The thing is how you react to that problem. You know, before I used to be all like, you know, catastrophic thinking and just going crazy and stuff like that because you expect the worst and hope for the best. That's what they used to tell you. And then once you do that, then you realize, like, man, I was going crazy over nothing. Like, I was going crazy over this. Like, why? Because that's what you were taught, to expect the worst and pray and hope for the best. I'm going to say, tackle your problem. Like, sit down and look at what problem it is. Say, like, I'm not making enough money. Okay, get a different job. That's one way to rectify that. Oh, me and this girl ain't doing too good. Sit down and talk to her. And if that don't work, then you're gonna have to say, hey, it's time to let it go. I mean, just be friends or whatever. If y'all don't have any kids in the mix, just be friends with her. And if being friends don't work, like I say, cut sling a little bit. You can say you don't have time for yourself. Everybody has time for themselves, whether you realize it or not, because there's 24 hours in a day that everybody's awarded, just depending on what time you wake up. But make the best of that time. You know, some people they work every day. And when I say work every day, I mean you have a 9-to-5 job, and then you come home and do things like this, like talking to people online. That's a part of your job. You go outside, you do yard work. You're cutting grass. That's another part of your job that's going on with your 9-to-5. It's all on what you want to do with your life. I know I've gone through with the whole, what am I going to do with my life? What should I be doing? Where am I going? It's okay to listen to other people, but still do what's right for you. You know what I mean? I've been places that I never thought that I'd go, you know, from being outside the army, and I enjoyed it. You know, like, go travel. There's no need for you not to travel. If you're a single man, woman, whatever you want to call yourself, go do something. Don't just sit at home festering in, oh, I don't have this, oh, I don't have that. Like he said, write that down on a piece of paper. That way, that's telling me, like, hey, I want to go to the Dominican Republic one day. How am I going to get there? Map your plan out. You map your plan out, you save your money. There you go. You've gone to the Dominican Republic. And I would advise anybody that's of age to get a passport. Get that passport now while you can. And then you might just win a lottery one day and be like, hey, I'm going out. I'm going to England or somewhere. I'm going to Ireland. Just go somewhere. Don't just sit at home doing nothing, crying to yourself. I mean, yeah, you're going to have those nights and days, but you have to keep yourself together, because that's just what you have to do. You know, you don't want to look back on it like, man, I wasted my time not going anywhere. I mean, look at some of your friends. You know, they barely leave the town that they're in. They just stay in town. They don't go outside of state lines. Do you want to be that? No. You just want to go and have you a good time. You know what I mean? Whether it's by yourself or with somebody. Sometimes it's better to go by yourself to map it out, see what it is, what it's like. Then next time you incorporate somebody with you. But like I said, just take care of yourself and need somebody to talk to. We're here for you. The best way I know how. You know, you want to know about bad mistakes that I've made, I'll tell you. You know, try to navigate you through. But some of those bad mistakes turn out to be some of the best things ever. You know what I mean? Because I made a mistake when I re-enlisted. Too busy chasing something I shouldn't have been chasing. And then in turn, it turned out where it helped me, and that's how I met this man. And then we've been friends ever since. But don't always look at the downside to stuff. You know what I mean? There's, I know it sounds cliche when they say, "Oh, every cloud has a silver lining." Yes, it does, and you're that silver lining. You know, you have to do what you think is and what you feel is right. Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave y'all with this, and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. I believe that if you believe in yourself, you can achieve what it is that you want. As you know, me and Deacon Curry, we're friends. We're best of friends. Um, he's a male. He does mail. I kind of run my own business. I'm an independent contractor. I deliver goods to people's homes. I'm also a high school football coach. I am going into my first year as a defensive coordinator. So when I say believe in yourself, there are going to be things that people are going to tell you you might not be able to do. They're going to tell you this stuff, right? They're going to be like, oh, you're not going to do this, and that. They're going to just give you a whole bunch of hoopla because that's how they believe. That's how they look at their life. And you have to look at your life as like a bulb, right? When you buy a fresh bulb, that bulb comes on bright as day, right? And that's how you got to look at yourself. Like, I'm this bulb, I'm going to shine bright. And when I remember getting out, this lady, I forgot the lady's name, but anyway, she told me this, and this is what I've been running with for like forever. She told me when I was getting out, doing the med board process, she said, go and be great. So I challenge everyone of you veterans, everyone that's getting out, everyone that is thinking about getting out, and those of you that are thinking about committing suicide, to just go and be great. And what does that mean? Go, take your life with full authority and full control, and believe that whatever it is that I want to achieve, I can achieve. Yes, you're going to have roadblocks in the way. That's happened. That's life. Things happen. That's life. But don't let it get you to the point where you're in a room and you want to just out yourself. Because there's so many people here for you, especially me and Deacon Curry. We're here for every veteran out there. If you want to write in the comments below, you can do that. I mean, don't give up. I want to hear great stories from you guys that are out there. There's so many of you out there doing TikToks. There's so many of you out there just living. And I want to see you guys do great. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button because we're going to have more videos. We're going to be doing different videos around Charlotte. We might take a trip to Nashville, do some things out there. We might come to your city. You never know.
There's more to come.
Exactly. There's so much more to come, and this is going to be awesome. We hope that you guys stay alive, stay alert, and just do what it is that you want to do. Again, from me and Deacon Curry, we want to say stay alert, stay alive, and
get after what's yours.
Exactly. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and tune in for more shows.